What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JusticeXFalls. We back at it again with another video. We are looking at Forspoken gameplay, some more gameplay. So IGN got a hands-on, and we're going to check it out. So without further ado, let's get to the video. All right, let's get it. I love the traversal. The traversals look so dope.
Forspoken is a lot more fun than I expected. Thus far, there have only been a few glimpses into combat, while the marketing campaign has, in my opinion, done the game a disservice by focusing on campy dialogue instead of what Forspoken is doing best. Because what's actually here is an RPG
y'all dragged
with
it.
a very
Y'all dragged it with that trailer. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. Like, y'all really dragged it. I ain't like that. I made a video about that. I'll link it somewhere.
heavy emphasis on big, bombastic combat sequences that have an optional bonus challenge for tryhards like myself in a Devil May Cry-like combat rating system.
Right, you get the style
Forspoken
meter.
surprised me with this focus on combat, roaming bosses.
And you get a million weapons at your disposal. I like that.
The challenge and a map filled with objectives to complete. I finished my demo excited to get better ratings in fights and to see how all this ties into Frey's experiences in her fish out of water story. The majority of this demo was focused around world exploration, controls, and combat. However, the little bit of banter we got between Cuff and Frey did have some insight as to how their dynamic will work. Cuff will give you the details about a person, place, or thing, while Frey continues playing the fish out of water role, asking a plethora of questions.
As she should. She got isekai. What you expect?
Forced or campy, which you'd think would be oozing out of every corner given how the team was lambasted on social media for their marketing campaign. So I was especially glad to not find any grating filler conversations as the two explored the world. Otherwise, the world we explored was quite interesting. The entirety of the plot focuses around planet Athia and an event known as the Break that has transformed animals into beasts, the dead into zombies, and introduced magic-bearing Tantas onto the playing field. The latter were sent by a mysterious character known as Prav, who we don't learn much about besides some flavor text.
She looks like a.
What we do know is Prav is able to send unjust enforcers.
She looks like a Fire Force character.
Mini boss after Frey. This all took place during one of the 5 missions in our build, all focused on teaching you the game's core mechanics. And that's what the majority of this demo was for. The amount of combat options are a bit staggering at first. Thankfully, the 22 abilities we had access to were split into 2 sets. Frey's magic and Scylla's magic, and you could swap between them easily by pressing left or right on the D-pad. Additionally, to give you more time to plan each attack, you can set your gameplay options to make your ability swaps on the radial interface either slow down time, stop time entirely, or do nothing once you've become accustomed to the system and can knock out some nutty combinations with ease.
That's like Final Fantasy Remake, where you can all right, I'm gonna put it back over here. So y'all pretty much get the gist. It's like Final Fantasy Remake, where it slows down when you're picking your abilities, and then you have the ability to turn it off. I think that's dope. That lets you do that.
So we didn't have all 100 plus magical abilities at our disposal, but the 22 abilities we did juggle were varied and interesting. This included 2 surge abilities, aka your super move, 6 main attacks, aka your go-to punchier shooty moves, and 14 sub or support attacks, aka one-time use magic abilities that enter a cooldown period after use. Frey's magic included 3 main attacks: burst shot, shield shot, or scatter shot, which are typical projectile abilities that send projectiles outward to shoot things from a distance. Of course, all these main abilities can be charged to shoot larger projectiles, but you're also left vulnerable during that time. The secondary attacks are support-based, so you'll use things like Bind to tie up opponents, Leech to summon poison-curing plants, Screen to summon stones around you as a rock shield, Disperse and Implant to create plant turrets to auto-attack, or Prime to lay a magic trap that will blow up should someone step onto it. The Surge ability, Genesis, creates a massive spike of roots from the ground that ensnares and damages anything caught within. Scylla's magic was by far my preferred.
So you have AoE attacks. You have your defensive attacks, your support attacks. Nah, these combos is gonna get crazy.
Method of approaching combat.
These combo videos is gonna go crazy. I might make one myself.
To it in this build. The 3 main attacks that involve fire are Arc Slice and Blast Slice that give Frey a huge fire lance, or Rage Slice that allows your fiery fist to become the weapon. Even Scylla's sub-abilities are incredibly powerful. Charge send you dive kicking at top speed into an opponent's face, pushing them back and damaging them at the same time. Bombardier does the same, but triggers an explosion that does area of effect damage. And Fire Trap creates a lava bubble to burn away at anything stepping inside of it. There's also less in-your-face options here like Aegis, which I don't know how to say properly, that cancels out an enemy's attack or eliminates defense-reducing spells applied to Frey. And my personal favorite, Crucible, will engulf a circular area in flames and allow Frey to do more attack damage to anything captured within. Combine that with the incredibly powerful, say it with me, Conflagration, which involves anything in front of you in a massive wave of fire, and you'll likely be walking away from most encounters victorious. Both Frey's and Scylla's magic also benefit from parkour abilities, offering additional options if airborne. As the parkour elements are separate, you can also use the Spider-Man web zip style ability to get up close and personal should you need to, or simply dodge to the left or right and avoid an attack. And all of this is combined with a combat rating that is constantly judging how well or poorly you've been doing the entire time. I will admit that I became obsessed with figuring out how to improve my score, as that letter D lingered far longer than I liked. With all these abilities, I'd love to see what a Frey S-tier combo looks like, hoping it would make even Dante from Devil May Cry blush. And
we getting S's. We getting S's. I'm wilding. Like this one reminds me of DMC, Devil May Cry, the remake one, because you have, like, if you hold the trigger, it'll switch you to a different weapon, to your angel weapon. More than if you could combine the two and shit. Like, yo, it's so much possibilities with this. I can't wait to get my hands on this.
In addition to all the combat elements, I was surprised by the amount of gear you can add to Frey, because each item had several stats to bolster your attack, defense, or magic. Those items include cloaks, necklaces, and even what I assume are press-on nails that, you can paint if you choose to do so. Cloaks have stats for attack, defense, and in this build, a purple or red magic rating buff, in addition to 3 random buffs on each piece of gear. Necklaces buff health and defense stats with that same purple or red rating the cloaks had, and seems to focus more on damage buffs. Finally, the nails. This is where your spell buffs are located, and you'll see everything from Frey's spell damage, plus 5% here, or something more fun like Killer Blows generate a shockwave. With that knowledge, you can start imagining what Frey's going to look like even early on in the game. Enemies are going to be knocked to the ground, electrocuted, generate a shockwave on their death, all while bursting your surge ability, meaning you'll be ready with an ultra strong attack to finish off anything remaining. I can't wait to see what other passive options we'll be able to stat into later on. To put those skills to the test, they've littered the map with plenty to do. There are enemies you can hunt down for XP rewards, treasure chests to unlock new gear, townspeople to save for a mana reward that will upgrade your abilities, monuments to strength that'll give you a stat increase and spawn something interesting to fight, and, oh boy, here's another tough word, Gaiuzel locations to scout that will reward new cloaks. And I think those are just a few of the items I happen to spot with my short amount of time in Forspoken. To find them, you can use Cuff's abilities like Scan that you can do by tapping up on the D-pad. Compass is also used by holding up should you want to be directed to a specific location. And if you need some help while you're out there, you can tap down on the D-pad to use a healing consumable, or hold down outside of combat to set up a camp and get some rest, or craft various items like those healing drafts. I ended up using more than I'd like.
Right. This game takes a lot of elements from a lot of the AAA games that came out. Devil May Cry with the style meter. Elden Ring, we could set up the camp. Just typical RPG elements like, you know, let's say Assassin's Creed, where you have multiple branching paths of where you can upgrade, you know, things of that nature. It's taking everything from what's been working in video games, from AAA games, and just mixing it in a pot and just throwing it out in its own kind of way, and I like that.
To admit, you can also do this at one of the hideaways
that will also
allow you to unlock new abilities with the mana you've collected, or craft/upgrade your cloaks, necklaces, and nails. And the parkour abilities aren't just limited to combat either. You can also very quickly get around the map with your standard zip ability, which makes things like climbing up the face of a mountain much easier, or getting to the next point of interest a bit more fun than just walking there. A Because I primarily played all of this on performance mode, as I prefer faster frame rate over pretty visuals, I did want to ask what some of the other graphical targets were. The Forspoken team told me that they're targeting a maximum resolution of 2880 by 1620p with a frame rate of 30 FPS for the ray tracing mode, and a maximum resolution of 2560 by 1440p at 60 frames per second for the performance mode. Having had the chance to swap between them both, there's an obvious difference in how the game feels and looks for both, as the demo was so focused on combat. I felt the faster...
It's so crazy how we're still in 2022 and we can't find a way to get 4K 60, like a true 4K 60 on consoles. It's even hard to get on PC. You got to have like the top of the top end graphics cards to do stuff like to do that.
Frame rate was the way to go. That said, if visuals are your thing, they've clearly spent a lot of time working to make them the best looking they can be. My biggest worry remains the story, which I didn't experience much of, but from what I have seen, I am intrigued by it. A modern day Chronicles of Narnia with a heavy focus on pulling off bombastic combos? Yeah, I'm 100% in. Forspoken has not done many favors for itself in terms of marketing, but having played it, if all these elements can somehow come together in a cohesive manner, I think we're all in for a treat. I guess we'll find out when the game launches in 2023.
January 24th.
Gaming, keep it right here at IGN.
January 24th. I didn't know they did a final preview of Plague Tale, the Requiem, the new one. I'll probably do a video on that too, probably tomorrow though, because I already got like mad videos. But anyway, yeah, this game was dope. In the demo, he said they was able to play around with
focus more on
22 weapons, but there's 22 spells, but there's a total of 100. There's over 100 different spells you can do, plus your upgrades and your buffs with your outfit that you have on. I think that's dope. You have light RPG elements, but it's an action RPG game with some style, because you gotta. They give you every opportunity to be stylish. I like games that let you be stylish, you know, in that Devil May Cry type vein. So I'm definitely looking forward to this game. I'm definitely gonna copy it when it comes out. Y'all let me know what y'all think. You know, do you like this game? Is it too gimmicky? Is it, you know, what do you think? So let me know. So y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.